7:41, good morning, going into Mother's Day weekend. And we have a full studio. Attorney Joe Habica just made his way in. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, everybody.
I'm hearing there's something going to be happening outside the studio soon.
There's something happening here.
A group. There's
it's a song.
something happening here.
A party of some sort?
It looks like there's going to be some sort of a Donald Trump rally in studio, I'm told. And we're checking on it. So
no one's
keep the flames.
car breaks down. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, Joe, quickly.
Keep the flames burning, baby.
Somebody's car breaks down. The tow truck driver comes up. He says, "You're a supporter of Bernie Sanders. I'm not going to tow you," and drives off. Illegal or just not very smart in terms of business?
I don't think it's illegal, but I do think
There's no discrimination going on there.
right. I don't think you can. I don't think that's a protected class.
However, if you are,
Although I do think if something happened to that person, you might be able to. You might be able to prove liability.
And also, it's pretty known practice that in America, if you're in a community that's ruled by a certain party, and if you're not in that party, you're not going to get a job. And is that technically, if that were to happen and you could prove it, would that be potentially an illegality?
No.
But
I will tell you that, I don't think that is effective government. And
I thought you were going to say you don't think it ever happens.
Oh, no, I know it happens.
Yeah.
Because why would you want qualified people just because they were in a different party?
Right. Okay, all right. I like that.
He's wiping the sarcasm off his lips.
Snarly,
Not sarcasm, the truth.
that snarly response.
You might as well go with second rate as long as they're in your party.
All right, okay, I got it. Michael Galimi is in here right now. Good morning, Mike.
How you doing, Bill?
And we were going to talk about the Whiteboro property. Quickly, let's get into that. Your thoughts?
Yeah, sure.
Is there room for... What's going on between the mayor and Rob Esch? Let's start out with that one.
I don't know what's going on between the mayor and Rob Esch.
Is there a tension there?
I think there might be a little love
Some
lost
friction
there,
happening?
but,
It seems.
I think more importantly, discussing the proper URA process is probably high on my list.
All right.
Yeah, because there's been, I would say in the aftermath of that vote, I think there's quite a few people who went out into the public and mischaracterized the process. And I don't think it's fair to the public to misunderstand what's actually going on in the council's chambers.
So what is going on? And is that complex going to be going in there?
I mean, the apartment complex, the sale of that property has been approved.
Yeah.
It's a 5-4 vote. And as I see it, that legislation that was on the desk of the council, that was for the sale of the property to that real estate developer, and it was to approve that sale or to leave that land empty. URA, reviewed applications, selected an application, and the legislation that came across was specifically to do with the sale of that property. And as far as, how people voted, based on what else was going on in the community, I felt that the council appropriately vetted and looked at the legislation.
And not the battle going on.
Exactly.
Okay, let me ask you this. If one of the council members decided not to show, and it was a 4-4 tie, guess who would get to break the tie?
I know.
How would you have voted?
Oh, you would love to know. But here's the thing. As the council president, unless I'm put in that position, I'm not going to reveal how I would vote because, over the next couple of years, I'm going to be in a position quite a few times, no different than with Harbor Point, where I've got to get a bunch of people together. I got to get heads together. They're going to be on two sides of an issue, and I have to stand in the middle and make sure that everyone's voice is heard.
So it's done, and there's no reason for you to pipe in, is what you're saying?
No, if I don't have to cast a vote,
right.
I don't think it's necessarily a need for me to say how I would actually have voted on that process, because then that's going to reveal maybe how I might think about something in the future. I want people to realize that I'm impartial.
Okay, Joe,
I want to bring people to the table.
Joe Habica, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. I think he runs the meetings beautifully.
Wow, that's you got a
there's a level of
Whoa.
professionalism
Whoa! He never gives out compliments.
Well, listen, I have to tell you something. He really takes his duties seriously.
All right,
and I think he does what he can to try to bring the sides together. He gives everybody an opportunity to, give their voice. And what he does is that he attempts to get as much information as possible and get it out there.
All right.
Actually truthful information.
In fairness, Joe Hubike is the city Republican chair. Mike Galimi, I want to ask you, and Mike, of course, I'm not sure that I introduced you officially because I'm seeing the saxophone, and I'm very excited about that.
I have many hats, Bill. That's
President
the issue, right?
of the Common Council. Okay, quickly, and I think we don't have to take too much time on this, but the Economic Innovation Group ranked the city of Utica facing one of the worst economic situations in the United States. The study shows Utica as the sixth worst or sixth most distressed area in the entire United States.
Yes.
This is a reputable group. This isn't some real estate agency in California popping out for some hits on the web. This seems to be a real study. What are your thoughts and what are your comments on it?
My thoughts are that all the listeners who are in Utica right now live in Utica. And reputable group or not, it's just another study.
Yeah.
I spend every day in Utica. I work in Utica. You make a life that you make here, and I think we got it pretty good.
I got to tell you, Tim Reed earlier said this clearly doesn't show the new things that are happening, the new opportunities that are occurring, the change that is going on. This is certainly prior to all of that, and also talked about a bit of a buzz that seems to be in an optimism that seems to be like we've never experienced here, at least in modern
times. It's based on
time.
percentages. It's based on statistical data.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to do something like that, even if you are being fair, you're going to see some differences that if you don't, actually have physical access to the community and really know what's going on, you don't see. I mean, even if 90% of the people were having a hard time in Utica, and 10% of the people could really, really do well, okay, and that's a product of the community that they could do well, then there's always hope here. Okay, and there's always a way to get something done.
Well, the good news is it's not that bad.
No,
I mean,
not.
you've given 90%. They're saying about 50%.
I'm literally just going off the deep end with that and
Yeah.
saying, look, these are studies.
Yeah.
We're all here, and everyone can always do better.
Yeah.
And you could take a study like this and make the best thing in the world look bad.
Well, unfortunately, the numbers they're
dismal.
They're dismal. Adults with high school diplomas, unoccupied houses, poverty rate, income, net job gains or losses, net business gains or losses, percentage of adults not working. We're not talking about something that we already don't know, right? We all know this has been depressed.
And I would argue
but it does seem to be turning around.
Yes, and I would argue that some of the things on that list don't make someone bad or an area bad. What's wrong with not having a high school diploma if you've managed to get along?
Okay.
But if you haven't,
I don't want to promote that.
I don't want to promote that.
I just want to.
I'm just saying it's statistics.
There are plenty of people that have not graduated high school that have gone off and become
and
multimillionaires.
There's also people who obtain a GED, go on to SUNY IT,
no
and
doubt
have
about
been
it.
very, very effective at making a great income around.
But I don't think we can tout that.
Some people would view Utica as a dumping ground for, I guess, the less desirables. I think that's
well. That's what this study's saying.
Yes, but I think that that's turning around. Everybody is that is involved with government is attempting to help that along so that we can combat that.
Sure.
Okay, and we have a lot
stories
of
like these don't help.
Well, I don't think it really. I think if somebody looks at it and says maybe I would look at it and say, oh, geez, there's got to be a lot of opportunity there. But I just want to say one thing. I walked up Bank Place a week or two ago. There's 5 or 6 restaurants on Bank Place.
Yeah.
Okay. There hasn't been 5 or 6 open shops on Bank Place in a very long time. I got excited, and they were all different types of places. Okay. But I will say that there was a hiatus prior to this mayor. I think he's worked very hard. There was a little bit of a hiatus in neighborhood business development, and I think we're seeing the fruits of those efforts.
Some would say the decline is about 45 years old.
It's what?
It would be 45 years of tough times.
Well,
even though you've had gains,
I hate
we've
to say
had
it.
loss,
I hate to say it, but I think during the Republican administration a number of years ago, there were the first brownfield developments. There was, they took down any like 1,700 dilapidated houses.
It did seem like that. The Tim
Okay.
Julian administration, it seemed like during that time there was opportunity. Things were turning around.
Right.
But then it just fizzled.
Well,
I'd say
Yeah.
it's ebb and flow. I don't say it fizzled.
Well, but on the other hand, we've never seen money flow into here. We were talking to Joe Griffo the other day, and we tallied up his numbers, and it's over $1 billion that's been pushed into this area. We've never seen money pushed
we
here
needed
like
the
that.
money.
Yeah.
We need the money. We need
Yeah.
the money. We
All right.
need the jobs. We actually need the vocational training. We have, I think all the not-for-profits are working very hard to try to manage some of the more challenged people. And I think that, if everything develops as advertised at SUNY with the Nano, there's going to be a lot of offshoot businesses. And,
Okay.
I think it would be nice to actually be part of the generation that
turns it around.
that saw the turnaround in Utica, rather
I
than
agree.
being the one that remembers when.
Yeah.
Well, I think, one of the things is if you look back 40, 45 years ago, you had GE in here at that point in time. You had Kelsey Hayes in here at that time. You had the Air Base at that time in regards to that were doing thousands and thousands and thousands of employees. What we're doing now is a small ground game where you're talking about 10, 15, 20 employers or whatever it is. That takes time.
Yeah, but that's how Syracuse built back in the 70s and 80s when Utica was retracting. There were a lot of difficult and poor decisions that were made when Utica and the surrounding area were beginning to kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
If you look at the base alone, we made an effort to try to retain the base. There were some decisions made by people outside of the area to not pick a side,
Right.
and they ended up losing multiple bases, not just Griffiths.
At the end of the day, the base has turned out to be an example of what we can really do. If you really look at what's happened out there, it has brought businesses in that never existed before, and it's thriving out
But
there
to Joe's point, it was either Griffiths or Plattsburgh, and at the end
Right.
of the day, both sides lost.
Right, and of course Plattsburgh was on Lake Champlain, so that gave them a little bit more cachet.
Right.
The other thing is, you take the Utica Business Park. There was the Utica Business Park, and then the businesses in the Utica Business Park
Purged.
and ended up going up. Some of them went up to Griffiths.
But
So-
it's built beyond that now.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not being critical about Griffiths at all. I'm just saying that in the beginning it was some, they had to make some hard moves that gave a temporary lull to one side of the county, and then actually benefit it. And now it's gone beyond that. So we had to live through a little bit of pain in order
All
to
right,
get
I'll
the
buy
game.
that. Yeah.
Okay?
You buy that, Galimi?
Yeah, I'm buying that.
All
I'm a
right.
product of Rome Lab myself, actually.
I there's not time for that story because I want you to play.
Yeah. All right.
You're a musician that a lot of people don't know.
I am a musician. I do it a little bit less nowadays, but I'm going to play some horn. I'm going to do a little solo out of a tune that you might hear on July 9th. I think Tim might be able to
Correct.
say something about July 9th.
Yeah.
You want to give that a little plug?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Rick Sicaro, who's famous for his Billy
Rick's a
Joel.
great guy.
His Billy Joel. We've got Carbone's going to be sponsoring this thing. So we always have an event that takes place at the Stanley the night before the race. I just tell them you got to be done by 8 o'clock at night because I got to get these
Big day tomorrow.
Get those
I've got
runners
to run
to sleep.
myself.
Yeah, absolutely. You can
it's
run
gonna
with
be-
the sax.
Yeah, this is going to be my first Boilermaker running, and the first time I got to play a gig the night before. So it's going to be an interesting combo.
All right.
I'll just mention, as Michael's about to play, you can check this out on Facebook live stream right now if you want to
Cool.
watch him.
All right, Michael Galimi,
All right.
president of Utica Comic Council, show you, other than blowing hard and politically blowing hard, he can blow quite hard into an instrument. Here we go. All right.
So, Bill, what song was that?
That,
That was
Billy Joel.
It's not Uptown Girl.
No. That was.
Come on.
Just the way you are.
Just the way you
Yeah.
are. Phil
Yeah.
Woods, man. Great
Yeah,
horn player.
yeah, that was
Love him.
really good, Mr. Galemi.
Well, thank you. Thank you very
Even
much.
Joe Habaika's looking with envy. Look at the
I have to
envy.
tell you, listen, I have a lot of respect for his musicianship.
That was really, really good. All right, we're going to go to break. I want you to take us out with something, just something.
you wanna take us out with
Take
something?
us to break.
Let's see.
20 seconds of something.
A little
Michael
something.
Galemi.
Ready?
Here we go.
You got to guess this one.
Okay. That's Freebird.
No. No, it's not.
Sorry, what is it, Tim?
Oh.
I can't bring it out. I
Yeah,
can't
see,
figure it
it's
out.
not a
I
horn
can't
tune.
guess.
No,
I
it's-
can't guess ever.
Because I'm
No,
used.
play that funky
it's on the
music,
tip of
white
your
boy.
tongue.
It's because I'm used to that whole drum part.
Yeah,
that plays right
exactly.
afterwards.
You want me to just say it?
Yes.
Led Zeppelin, Moby Dick.
Oh, I'm so
there it is.
mad!
Wow.
Darn!
That we should have.
You had
Man, I
Thinking the drum
did.
solo. You heard the drum
Huh?
solo.
We are vinyl viewers. We should have had that one, Tim.
I know.
That
I
is
know.
terrible.
boy.
All right, Michael Galemi, very impressed. Very impressed.
Thank you.
And as I said, even Habaika looking with some envy right there.
That's right.
Get
We
a hold
all-
of get a hold
listen.
of Stanley and get those tickets.
We all look with envy because we all want to play piano. We all want to play sax. Those are the two instruments that we all want to play. And Tim, this is the night before the Boilermaker.
Night before the Boilermaker.
And it's going to be big.
Get a hold of Stanley.
Okay. Very,
Also, the actor who played the most interesting man in the world will be our special guest. Oh yes.
No
so
way, really?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
already retired.
Now
he
they
re-
sent him to Mars.
Yeah, they did. They sent him to Mars. He came
But he's coming
and
back.
He's going to be
He
there.
came back on
All right.
For the
SpaceX.
Boilermaker.
Good stuff. Good stuff. It's all coming. Hold tight. We have to break. WIBX.